Once you've done that detox and you've had that little moment and then you actually remember what good feels like, I think you get that being in tune to your body when you know it's not feeling good, but now you've got the recipe in your brain to know what to do to feel good. Metabolic Balance has taught me to remember what good's supposed to be.
Hello and welcome to the Metabolic Balance Stories podcast. This is where we share real stories and insights to help you on your journey to optimal health with personalised nutrition. I'm Cherry Wills, I'm your host, and today I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Julie Harris. Julie is a Metabolic Balance client from South Australia. She worked with her practitioner, Nina Ward, and she first got her metabolic balance plan back in May 24. So it's almost a year since you did metabolic balance. So hello, Julie.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. I'm good. And it's wonderful to talk to you today. So tell us, what was it that led you to, first of all, even learn about metabolic balance? Where were you at last year?
I don't know, just kind of having a few things going on. I mean, we can get into it, but I had breast cancer, had a couple of years of chemo, stacked on a bit of weight. I had to go into surgical menopause because of the breast cancer. I was feeling really blur. And one of my other friends had been doing metabolic balance and she knew of my practitioner and said, why don't you just go see Nina and see, what it's all about. And so I just went, right, well, I'll go try it out, and had a meeting with Nina, and the rest is history. I pretty much signed up on the day and off I went. So, but I was ready. I was really ready for a change and I wasn't feeling the best. Menopause was kicking my butt.
So how old are you? Sorry, Julie, would you share?
50. Yeah.
Okay. So when did you get the breast cancer?
I was about 45. So yeah, I had a double mastectomy, chemo for about a year and a half, 2 years. And then I also got some fake boobs put in. So yeah, had my boobs back. So yeah, all in all, a good couple of years of, and I also had my ovaries and uterus out as well. So had the kind of work. So my body was just not a happy place.
No. So you'd gone through a lot of surgeries by the sounds of that. I
don't know how many all up it was, but maybe, I don't know, like 15 surgeries over a couple of years, maybe. So quite a lot of anesthetics, a lot of surgery, obviously all the chemo drugs as well, everything else that goes with it. But yeah, the bit that was really kicking my butt at the end is the menopause, because I can't really have estrogen-based menopause kind of products. So yeah, it was just killing me. My sleep was terrible. I was about 15 kilos heavier than I am now, but I was also eating crap. I was eating really bad.
So were you sort of comfort eating? Had you got into that sort of comfort eating stage?
Yeah, and when I first got the diagnosis, I was having chemo. I was like, no, I'm going to drink green juice, and I'm going to be the best version of myself. And like, I was so sick. All I wanted was hot chips and pasta. It's kind of all I could digest at the time as well. I had good intention, but that went out the window pretty quick. But yeah, and then a bit of comfort eating and those kind of things as well. So yeah.
And I think as well, we have amazing healthcare in this country, do we not? I mean, like, I'm sure you had amazing healthcare for your breast cancer, but then there is a little bit of a void. I mean, like, you correct me if it was different for you, but as I see it, there's a bit of a void then of actually know how to heal and get well and to build yourself back up and feel good again.
Yeah, and I think, every specialist, once they're done with you, right? So it's not a holistic approach to you as a human. You have each specialist looking out for you, whether that's your chemotherapist, oncologist, or whether that's your um, surgeon, or whether that's it's just no one looks after you in that way. It really has to be led by yourself, I think. I mean, there might be some great practitioners out there that look after you as the whole person, but I'm yet to have found it. But I didn't necessarily go looking for it either. I was actually more interested in an oncologist who was, I didn't mind that he was purely science human in it, so I didn't mind it so much, but yeah, it's on you. It's on you to kind of take control of that, I think, and determine where you sit in that spectrum of, I guess, well-being versus, medicine. So, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I think as well, it's the way I often see it is you have to go through that kind of journey, don't you? And you can't do everything at once. It's an overwhelming diagnosis in the first place. So you kind of have to just go through what needs to happen. And then when wonderfully, it all kind of worked out well for you that you've, came to a good place. But then you're then at that point, well, now how do you're probably in that headspace that you could even listen to and look for something else.
Yeah, and I talked a bit about this with Nina. Like, my brain, I've decided I'm a little bit different to a lot of other people, because I just didn't really look at the end result. All I really do is go, right, this is the next plan. So this is plan A. And then when plan A wasn't working, I don't like plan B. I just go to another plan A. So I don't believe in plan B. So when I was going through that process, I'd be like, okay, now I need to do this. Now I need to have this drug. Now I don't have white blood cells. Now I have to do this. Or, you just have to, it's decision-making fatigue in that journey. And I think sometimes to add something else on that maybe feels overwhelming on top of everything else you're doing, and you're also trying to, in some way, you're trying to think like you can control the outcomes of your body, which you can't, but you just don't. I almost got a little bit nervous to add another layer of change in there sometimes, because I'm like, right, I've got my bloods, I've got this, I've got that, like I could kind of look at myself like a bit of like science project until I got through it. But every month, however often, you're making a decision about your treatment or what your next step is. So, I got to a point where they wanted to keep me on some medication to keep me in menopause so that I wasn't producing estrogen. But the medication they were giving me gave me a 1 in 500 chance of getting uterine cancer. And I'm 45. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to fly. So I just went completely surgical and had everything removed. So, you just can't sometimes do it all. You just got to be kind to yourself. I'm sure some people can, but I could not. So
No, I don't think you're alone. I mean, like, I think that's far more the norm as well. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, who knows how I would be in that situation as well. I mean, you just got to do what you've got to do. But then you thankfully you went through all of the medical treatment. You've came out of it. But then beginning of 24, sort of March 2024, you're feeling that sort of you're not good in yourself because of the weight gain. You said you're 15 kilos heavier.
yeah, 15 kilos. It was about 85-ish, 86 kilos. But the thing that was really killing me was my sleep with the menopause. So serious hot flashes. And I was up, I'd have a hot flush at 11 p.m., 2 a.m. It was almost on the clock, right? So I just wasn't sleeping. And making bad food choice, just feeling generally not good and not feeling like myself, and also not feeling good about myself. Like, didn't like the way I looked, didn't like I couldn't fit into my clothes, all of those other things that go with it as well. So right, that's it. Let's do something about it. So
Yeah. So you heard about metabolic balance from a friend of yours.
yeah.
And what did she say, or what did they say?
My friend Sasha, she's probably a little more I don't know. I don't want to use this in a derogatory, but more holistic in her approach in the way she eats food and the way she looks after her body. But she knows me really well and knows what I'm like, and she knew I would want something that's a little bit science based and a little bit evidence based. And she goes, Julie, I think Nina would be really good, and this program would be excellent. It's very science based, and I like the idea of having that meeting, taking my blood, and creating something based on my physiology and what's going on for me. And that feels more aligned to the way I like to do life a little bit. So I want a bit of science behind it. I want that evidence to what I'm doing. So yeah, I think that's probably what drew me in. She talked to me about that. And then when I met with Nina, she went through the whole program with me and, the background and how it works. And it was good because my thyroid was a little bit down. There's all sorts of little bits and pieces in there that Nina went and told me about, but it made complete sense to me. But I like it. I like having a base number. I like working on it in that way. So that's why I think I particularly like the Metabolic Balance program. So, yeah.
So you get your plan then in May last year, and sort of, how did you find it? I mean, what did you think?
Well, the first 3 days I was ready to stab my own eyes out with the headaches that I was having. The first 3 days were really hard. I was sick as a dog. So really bad headaches. Yeah.
So let me just fill people in quickly, because this is where you're basically eating vegetables. You're cutting back on, any of the stimulants like coffee, tea, any soft drinks, anything like that. And it's basically clean eating for 2 days, a bit of a detox. So these 2 days can be a little unpredictable with how different people detox. And you clearly had quite a significant detox.
I think it was the coffee, personally. I think it killed me. So, and I was trying to wean off of it a little bit before I got there. And I wasn't having excessive amounts of coffee, but I was probably having, 3 cups of coffee a day, maybe a cup of tea at night, something like that. So, and it had grown.
Were you surprised then? Were you surprised by that detox from coffee?
Yeah. I just didn't expect the headache to be quite that bad. But don't want to scare people off, but I felt really good after it. Like after 2 days, I'm like, great. Well, that's done. I don't need to go back now. I don't know. I didn't mind the feeling crap for a couple of days because it almost felt like it was me proving to myself that I needed to do it. Because if I needed that, you know what I mean? Like that detoxy kind of feeling of kind of saying, well, if there was nothing wrong with me, just eating vegetables and soup and whatever for a couple of days shouldn't have been a problem. So, that level of withdrawal obviously meant I needed it. So I actually kind of liked it. I don't know.
I think it kind of shows that change was important to do.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I sometimes use the analogy a bit like, when you're spring cleaning your house. You're spring cleaning your house, and actually that day you're spring cleaning it, the house looks a complete mess. It's like it's all like all this rubbish has come out cupboards and things like that. But actually the ultimate outcome is a much nicer house to live in.
And I would say to anyone, just do it. Don't, you're going to feel a bit crap, but that's showing you that you should be doing it. That's how I kind of feel about it. And I'm sure there's some people that don't feel that way. There's a lot of people that just go through it and it's just a bit of a boring couple of days of eating vegetables or whatever it might be. But if you're a bit of a caffeine junkie, I think just be aware it's coming, but be okay with it and kind of relish in the suffering or in the pain or something. I don't know.
Well, it's just this knowledge that you're doing something different for your body, isn't it? It's that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, like back to this weird thing I have about control, feeling like I was back in control of my body because I was telling it what to do. So, anyway, that's who knows what my brain thinks.
Well, that's the first 2 days, but then how quickly did you start to feel good and notice changes then?
I would say by the end of the first week, because I'm a vegetarian anyway. So I was already eating, I eat a lot of vegetables in my diet day to day before this, but I'd say within I don't know 5 to 7 days, a significant difference.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
So, my day to day, my program didn't actually end up being that much different to what I would normally have, except for the addition of some proteins and things like that. So,
Mm-hmm. And they could have been, that's then the key thing, because it is that difference because clearly what you were doing before was not giving you the results you needed.
and it was the white pasta, it was the coffee, it was the sugar hit at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was the not eating all day and then eating at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I got home from work or whatever. So I think it wasn't just the diet, it was the big thing that I took away with it is the timing. Like, even if I'm on kind of the 80-20 now, but if I start to kind of go a bit too far, generally it's the timing. And if I go back to my 5-hour gaps, I go back to my sizes, protein first, all the rules, I can very quickly just get back on track.
Reset yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't had to kind of go right back to phase 2 or something yet. I can just kind of teeter between, phase 3 and 4. So, yeah. But, within a week I felt pretty good. And I don't know, I just felt proud of myself. So I felt good. Yeah.
Yeah. And so how about those, because you said the big thing was your sleep. When did that start to come good?
That took a little while. I'd say within a month, I stopped having kind of hot flushes through the day. And then it wasn't soon after that. Certainly within the first 3 months, I stopped having that 2 a.m. hot flash. So I was like clockwork. I would have a hot flash kind of, on certain times. I'd just get to sleep and have one, and then just get to sleep and have one. So I never dropped the 11 p.m. one. That one's always stayed, and I don't know why. But the 6 a.m. one comes and goes a little bit, but that 11 p.m. one just stays. I don't understand. But through the day, they're good. Don't have the 2 a.m. one, so I get a really good sleep from 11 till 6, 7. So I get a full sleep cycle. Which I don't think I had for maybe, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years. So massive difference. Yeah.
And then what about your weight? What happened with that?
I lost a fair chunk I lost my first 10 kilos pretty quickly. So, I lost that within probably 3 or 4 months, a couple of kilos a day. And Nina's going, now, Julie, it's not going to keep doing this. Just, she's trying to prep me up.
Yeah, I think we should say a couple of kilos a week. You weren't losing a couple of kilos a day. Sorry, just.
No, a couple of kilos a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes 1 kilo, sometimes 1.5, sometimes 900 grams, but on average, probably a kilo a week. And so after 3 months, I kind of lost about that 10 kilos. And then the next 5 took another 3 months or so. The next 5 took quite a long time, but I was also training for a big mountain bike race that I was doing. So poor Nina was trying to help me eat and train and lose weight and keep my protein up. So it was really important for me to have my consultant there to tailor the program so that I was still on track, but I was able to do my training for my mountain bike race. So, yeah.
Wow. So were you doing? I'm now want to know about this mountain bike race, because again, this is something that did you apply to do this, or had this idea to do this after you started MB, or was it before? Because often people stop themselves from doing things like that because they aren't feeling good beforehand.
No, I was still mountain bike racing. I was still doing kind of cross country and downhill racing.
Okay. So you were really active before you started MB. And that's again really interesting as well, because a lot of the time people think it's just you've got to exercise more. As in you were, it could be that if somebody didn't know that bit, they could say, oh, look, she was 85 kilos because she wasn't moving, she wasn't exercising. But no, you were seriously active and yet you couldn't lose the weight before.
No, could not lose it. And I was getting slower and slower, because I wasn't as fit. I was carrying more weight and just, trying to do diets like I was when I was in my 30s, not so it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work, for where my body's at, what's happened to my body and also my age. So, so that was probably one of the biggest struggles. I can't remember how long you're not supposed to go over your heart rate over 140. You've got to keep.
They're sort of usually first 2 weeks. We like to keep that heart rate just nice and steady. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that was, Nina, I'd be like, but when? She's like, Julie, just follow the process. So for any of you that are trying to hurry it up, just follow your consultant and follow their, guidelines, and there's a method to the madness and the science behind it, around keeping your heart rate down a little bit. So, 2 weeks to a month's not going to be the end of the world if you training for something. So, yeah.
Yeah. I often use the phrase, you've got to do things differently to get different results. So you are clearly using exercise before and trying your hardest, but it wasn't actually giving you the results that you needed. So we do something a bit different. Then you can bring that great exercise back, because that exercise is fantastic to do, but you've got to do it for the right reasons for doing it.
Yeah, definitely. And I love mountain biking. I like getting outside and doing it. And I like the community in there, and I like being scared a little bit, so it's good. A bit of adrenaline. But I think understanding that difference between kind of aerobic and anaerobic, and making sure, Nina really talking to me about, we want you to stay here so that when you are in that space, your body then learns how to go back to, the kind of metabolic processes you should be having, and, not in the wrong space all the time. So, it was really good.
So you're now nearly a year on from when you started MB. So looking back, what would you say the last year has been like then?
It's interesting. Like, I think the first 4 or 5 months I was so focused, changing my behaviour. And when I was getting towards the end, and my, Nina and my consultant was kind of saying, look, you're there, you've hit the number, this is where we're at. I was really nervous. I was really scared to let go of that control, because I'd got into a really strict process. And she's like, Julie, you've got to live your life. Let's just, can you just try something? Can you, just adding things in and letting the reins just go a little bit. So I think, I follow the program now 80 to 90% of the time, but I do allow myself, to go out to dinner with the family, and not, if I want a little bit of something, I'll have it, but it's just in moderation now. That's the difference, I think. And when I'm feeling a little bit, or I'm not sleeping well or whatever, I know what to do to get back to feeling good. And I think that's the difference. I've now got the recipe, and I've got the structure to know what to do to get back to, when you're having that moment. So like a Christmas blowout, I did have quite a lot of trifle, and I needed to reset myself, but I knew what to do, and I didn't have to go right back to phase 2. I just had to go back to the basics. So, like I said, 3 meals, eat your apple, 5-hour gaps, just all the things that you normally do. So, it doesn't even feel like a thing anymore. It's just naturally know what to do. But those first 4 to 6 months, I was like, that's the rules, and wouldn't kind of break the rules.
That's really, I love that you say that, because I don't like it. I have to say, I don't like it when people see metabolic balance just as a diet that they do. And then when you get to the end, you kind of stop, because you've got to find that way of making it a real life style that fits in well with you, that you can go with the flow, look after yourself at all times, but you're also just knowing your boundaries and you're knowing when to rein things in and when to relax it a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it's about knowing, and once you've done that detox and you've had that little moment and then you actually remember what good feels like, I think you get that being in tune to your body when you know it's not feeling good, but now you've got the recipe in your brain to know what to do to feel good. So I think, if anything, metabolic balance has taught me to remember what good's supposed to be, rather than living on sugar and pasta, like 50 coffees, I don't know, whatever your thing is, but you start propping yourself up with the things that you shouldn't be propping yourself up with. And yeah, you forget what good feels like.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think you really did forget, you forgot beforehand how you're supposed to feel because you were feeling kind of a bit rubbish all the time before?
Yeah, that's probably, if you add on the total of all the things that I'd been through, I probably hadn't really thought about what good's supposed to look like for maybe 5 years, between surgeries and chemo and then, reconstruction surgery, all of the things, and then menopause. I don't think kind of knew what good felt like for a really long time. And now I do. So yeah, so it's good. Yeah. I needed something. It wasn't just about the weight. It was about me not feeling good, tired all the time. Yeah. A lot of brain fog as well from the menopause and sleeping and diet. So yeah, I feel like I'm a much better human.
I just want to know what do you think you've maybe been able to achieve now because of that you're feeling so much better in yourself? Is there something you would actually, share with us that has made the difference?
It's an interesting question. I don't know. I think I'm definitely better. I'm fitter and stronger with my mountain biking, 100%. So I'm fitter than I've ever been. I'm doing kind of weights and Pilates, so just to give myself that kind of weight-based and stretching. So that's really good. But my mountain biking is a lot better. So clarity. I'm not tired. When you're tired and you're mountain biking, you fall off.
You make mistakes. Yeah.
You make mistakes. Yeah. You don't need to hit a tree. So no, just better skill probably. But I think just being more present and not being tired all the time with my family, with my daughter, having just some more energy in general to get up and do things. So, and there's lots of other little things, I think, and it's hard to know what bit is that the metabolic balance versus menopause a little bit, but I think they go hand in hand. I think there are definitely still symptoms that pop up with menopause, and I don't know where the hell they've come from. They're like a mystery to me sometimes. But what I do know is if I've got my diet and I'm following those principles from metabolic balance, the symptoms are a lot smoother. They're a lot more consistent. And I can generally tell, like I had a bit of a bad weekend this weekend because I ate a few chocolate Easter eggs. They were so delicious. And the sugar, I reckon the sugar just killed me. But I don't care. It was really good.
And you now know what to do, but you know what to do now. That's the thing.
Whereas before, I probably would have just eaten more sugar to get rid of the sugar.
And sent yourself on a spiral, which is a lot of people do.
So I think the main thing I've got out of it is probably, if I had to pick one thing, it's probably awareness of what good feels like. That's the main thing. Picking up your little symptoms to know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. I didn't particularly like doing when I had to go, I think it's when you go to phase 4 and they give you some foods to try and put in. I didn't like doing that, but I did do it, and was able to pick certain foods. I'm like, yeah, that's no good for me. So I like tomatoes, but I shouldn't have tomatoes. So I can have some, I just not all the time. So just things like that.
I find it fascinating what your body then what signals you can pick up, because they were probably always there, but they were all clouded by the general feeling of slightly feeling it anyway.
Definitely, definitely. So that's the one thing, feeling good, and I don't really care what people think on the outside. People would obviously say, oh, you look great, or you've lost weight or whatever, but that was nice to hear, but it wasn't what I got out of it personally.
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, feel good.
Yeah. And you get back into your old clothes or your favourite old clothes.
Yeah. Well, I actually just threw out a whole of clothes and bought new ones in the end. It's about the 10 kilo mark. I'd lost about 10 kilos and I still had about 5 to go. And I was refusing to buy new jeans because I'm like, no, I will not buy them until I get to that weight. So they were all a bit saggy and baggy, but in the end, I just bought all new clothes and haven't gone back. So I dropped, kind of from a large to a medium, or from like a 14, 16 to a 10 to 12, somewhere in those size ranges. So dropped a couple of sizes.
And that just feels good, doesn't it? I mean, like it's getting back. I sometimes think it's a bit like getting yourself back that you used to be. Yeah. And before the ravages of sort of obviously breast cancer for you, but also just menopause and that sort of hormone life. Yeah.
Yeah. Putting everyone else first. And I do think about that. I'm like, is that because I didn't want to put myself first? And I think my family would never have had that approach. I think I was actually using that as a bit of a way to avoid looking after myself first for a while. So it's interesting. But anyways, I think however you want to do it, but you do need to look after yourself. Otherwise you're not the best version of yourself, either. So whether that's at work or with family or for whatever that is. So yeah.
But you can now kind of, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you've mentioned your daughter, of course, as well. So you've also shown her that, what your healthy eating and looking after yourself is important, and you feel better and you can have a nicer relationship potentially with her because you're just feeling better in yourself.
Yeah, that's right. I think, just, and not being tired all the time, being able to be present and not like be a sloth on the couch, Netflixing it out. Even though I do like to do that.
Well, we all like to do that on occasion, do we not? Yeah, absolutely.
But, just, she sees me getting up and going to the gym, or she sees me getting up and, whatever that is, or I'm really strict, with my 5-hour gaps or whatever. You don't need to snack on, all sorts of rubbish in the middle of the day. So, yeah. But she's a teenage girl. She eats a lot anyway. So, but yeah.
Yeah. And I think, what you've shared isn't something that, that you're feeling good in yourself. You're 51 this year, aren't you? And, not many 51-year-olds can really say they feel really good in themselves and they feel they have energy and they're fitting into old clothes and dropping dress sizes like that and just feeling happy in themselves. That's the important bit to me. And that it's ongoing. I love talking to people to share how much of an ongoing process this is. This is not just a flash in the pan, short-term diet.
No, and it's, like I said, I'm drawn to it because of the science behind it. And yeah, I think when you first get it, you just have to trust that the science is right. So, and it can be challenging because you'll see other people on the Facebook page or whatever, and they've got all different diets and all different, different foods. Yeah, different foods that they're allowed to have. So, yeah, but just stick with it. The science is the science, and the bloods tell you, it's, I don't know, it works. So
that's the beauty of personalized nutrition, though. It's personalized to you. It's just, it's what your body needs at that point in time, at that time. Yeah. Amazing. Awesome. Yeah. So if somebody is listening to this and they're relating to, a lot of what you're saying, what would, how would you, and they're on the fence, they're kind of thinking, oh, is this something I should be checking out? What would you say to them?
I'd say find your consultant, have a chat to them about the program. If you're really on the fence, maybe ask for a few testimonials or speak to people that have done it that are in like situations to you. But the only thing I can say is that if you're feeling that way, trust yourself. You know in yourself that there's something you need to do. If you're on the fence, it's because you know that you need to do something. So just go do it. Like, just go try. What's stopping you? There's nothing in this program that is so left of center. It's actually just giving you a framework to improve your health, and your health is important. So, you've only got one body and one life. So go look after it. But yeah, like, I think if you can find a consultant that's good for you to just talk you through that program, and tailor it as best they can to you. Like poor Nina, I was like, nope, I don't eat this. I don't do that. Sorry, I just lost my earbud. Don't eat this. Don't want that. I didn't like, poor, but I don't drink orange juice. I don't do all these things. But she tailored it to me and she found a way. So yeah, I'm a vegetarian, but I eat dairy. I don't like, this. I'm just fussy is probably better. And don't let that turn you off. Your practitioner will find a way to help you get on the program. So, yeah, that would be my advice. Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. And I think that's the ultimate message. And MB is just about finding the food. You find your food, you work with your practitioner to tailor it, and then you see what happens and see how your body responds. And it's very interesting, again, when you were saying that, when you go off track, things can creep back in again. But it's kind of like it's your body saying, actually, I still need you to look after me right now. So, yeah, that's what I noticed too.
Definitely. And I don't mind. I don't mind having that kind of more relaxed, it's probably more like 90-10 instead of 80-20, but yeah, I still like living my life.
I like living my life too. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Going out with my daughter and going to get some ice cream or, just something. It's not the end of the world. Just you will get to a point where you can still live your life and enjoy your life, but do it in a healthier way and feel good about yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And you recognise that what you don't want as well. That's the thing. Well, you thought you wanted, but actually, no, I don't think I do want that at all. Yeah, that kind of thing.
No, I very rarely now, very, very rarely want pasta anymore. And I'd say for the first 4 months, that's all I could kind of dream of was big bowls of white carbs. But I just don't even want it really anymore. I might go for a bread roll or something, but a big bowl of white pasta, I don't even want it. So
it's interesting, isn't it? Because you kind of know how it will make you feel. And you're like, do I want to feel like that? I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not even like I don't even want it now. It's not even about how I feel. Yeah. So it is life-changing, but in a good way. So if you're on the fence, go speak to someone who's done it, and it's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Well, again, that's what this podcast is all about. So, helping people hear the different stories from real people like you sharing their story. Thank you, Julie. It's been wonderful to talk to you today. And I really appreciate just the candid honesty as well, because that's really important. And if anyone listening would like to find their practitioner consultant, please do check out the website, metabolicbalance.com. There's a page there, find your practitioner, and put in your suburb where you are in the world, and they will pop up. Okay, and there's more information in the footnotes as well. So thank you again, Julie, and we will catch up again on the next podcast. All right, so thank you.